this was my 24th day out here in North Carolina. I started out the day, I was just chomping at the bit to hurry up and get out there. For some reason, I was just felt rushed. And I really wanted to go and try and hustle up and get that bridge done. And that's kind of my curse, I guess, is that I always try and go as hard as I can at everything in life. And for some reason, I have a hard time slowing down sometimes, and I get overwhelmed with stuff, and I just push and push and push and go and go and go, and don't take a second to slow down. But the universe threw me a curveball and just decided to make me slow down. and so it became a day of patience. I learned real quick. So when I went and woke up, I was going to take Denny out there with me to go help screw the bridge down. And he's just another guy volunteering here. And like I said, I was just in a rush to try and hurry up and get out there and go to work. But he was just kind of getting going. And he's been staying in a tent out here volunteering and just, giving his heart when he's staying in a tent and just in rough conditions. And I just was being rough and just hard and wanted to hurry up. And so I was trying to rush him, and he was even stopping to help people and stuff. And I don't know what was wrong with me. I just wanted to hurry up. And so I told him I wanted to just go ahead and get to the bridge and go. And he said, okay, well, I'll drive. And I was like, okay. So I left, and I was heading up the mountain to go to the bridge. And I'm driving up the mountain, and all of a sudden I heard tonk, tonk, tonk. And I looked back, and a generator that the camp had let me borrow fell out of the back of the truck, and I watched it tumble down a hill. And to say I felt stupid was an understatement. The guy at camp even told me before I left, the day before, he said, you might want to strap that down. And I told him I thought it would be fine because I had another generator. I had one rolling in my truck that was mine, and I hadn't strapped it down at all. And it had been fine the whole time, but it was giving me a couple troubles, so I took theirs just in case, and I didn't strap it down like an idiot, and it came out when my other didn't, and my other one was still in there too, but it fell down the hill. I think it just had different feet on it. When mine had handled going up mountains and rough roads and all kinds of crazy stuff, that one was just on a smooth road, fell out and just jumped out the back of my truck. Darn it. So the world immediately taught me some humble. It taught me that I was being an ass and shouldn't have been rushing Denny, and that it immediately came back, karma came back and taught me who was boss in that very instant, and went from me rushing and trying to hurry to me being the slow one and slowing everything down. And it also taught me my arrogance of thinking that it was going to be all right, and that I had control, and that I should have took a little extra precaution and listened to somebody else. So my arrogance immediately caught up to me, and the world taught me a lesson. And I just, sometimes you gotta learn from your experiences, and I felt like a dumbass for sure. And I just, one of them experiences that just teaches you a lesson sometimes. I went down and dropped all my tools off at the bridge for Denny. And then I went back and looked for the generator on the side of a mountain. And it took me an hour walking up and down the side of a mountain. And I had to go knock on people's door and let them know how stupid I was. And that I was going to have to search the woods behind their house. And I eventually found it, and it was right behind their house. And I didn't even notice after I'd hiked for an hour. When I found it, I had broke the air filter box and the fuel petcock. Besides that, everything else was fine, and I got to give it to Predator. Their generator is built very, very well. It tumbled down a hill and took it like a champ, and it was $30 for the parts, and it was just a pretty minuscule deal. I did return it back to camp. I think somebody else picked it up and was going to fix it, and they didn't care. It wasn't a big deal to them at all. And so immediately my day was just put off just because I was in a hurry, and life taught me a very quick lesson that I needed to slow down, and taught me a little bit of humble really quickly. And so I got back to Denny and the bridge, and he had just showed up for the second time because he showed up the first time hoping to find me out there, and I wasn't there. And he was once again trying to hurry up too, and just went back and looked for me and came back again. And quickly we both realized that it was going to be a day of patience, and that we were just trying to rush and hurry, and that there was no need for it. And it was just going to have to be a day where we take a deep breath and just deal with what the universe throws at us. And like I said, a day of patience. And that was our motto for the day. Me and Denny worked together all day, and everything we tried to do we'd be trying to kill it and rush. And we just, life just kept throwing us obstacles again and again and again to where we would be stuck and not be able to do something. And it was just a day of patience. And from there, I dropped my tools off and tried to go to the lumber yard. I got screws, and I got the best drill that they had. It was a DeWalt, and it had a hammer mode, and I thought for sure it would be able to drive those screws. But we got back, and it wouldn't drive the screws. And we were once again up Crap Creek without a paddle. There was another gentleman that had a hammer drill that he brought that was corded, and it wouldn't work. It wasn't enough to do it either. A corded hammer drill or corded impact was not enough to do it. Like, once again, my old Milwaukee impact with the 1/2-inch drive was the only thing that would drive those screws down. And I mean, it would drive them all the way down through the wood and everything. So it had no problem. But everything else struggled. My Ryobi stuff I used, like I said, to start until it would smoke. But we only had so much battery with the big Milwaukee, so we would try and start them with Ryobis and DeWalts and all the other stuff that we could try and use, and then just finish them off with the Milwaukee once they wouldn't go anymore. And believe it or not, my Ryobi normal drill drove almost... it drove better than anything else, and it would almost sink them. Sometimes it would sink them all the way, which is unreal. I mean, it did even better than the impact, which is I heard that the drill was stronger, but it proved it right there, 100%, that the normal drill is stronger than the impact. But yeah, it was just, like I said, a day of patience, and I had to go back and get some more lumber at one point, and had to go back for a couple different reasons, and each time I got caught in traffic, and it was over a 30-minute wait each direction each time I went, and I think I had to go back 2 or 3 times. They were putting in culverts under the main road, and they would just block off traffic, and we had no choice but to just sit there and wait. And it was about a 30-minute wait each time. So once again, it was a day of patience. And I had to take the drill back, the brand new one that I bought that I thought would work. I had to take that back. And it was just all around a day of patience. There was another gentleman that helped work with us. He was from Israel and came out here, I do believe, from Israel. I don't know if he came out here just to donate, but I think he might have. But came all the way out here and was working with us. I forgot what his name was, but yeah, just a huge help as well. Hard worker, and we all just 3 worked together to screw down that bridge, and we even were able to put rails on it, on the sides and stuff like that. And so right as we were finishing up, the homeowners came, and they were so ecstatic to see the bridge. They were just beside themselves. It brought a tear to their eye, and it brought a tear to my eye, and I know it brought a tear to Denny's eye. So it was just a pretty emotional moment. It was a big deal for them, and it was just a really beautiful moment, a beautiful thing. And we got to take a little picture there with the homeowners, and Tim did a lot for the bridge and stuff, and he was the first to take the machine across. It was a 20,000 pound excavator that he took across the bridge. But he got to do the maiden voyage. He got to be the first one to cross the bridge, and did it with a 20,000 pound machine, and it took it just fine. It took it really stout. But it's crazy to think about that bridge was just raw timber days before that. I mean, it was all wood from the storm, and we sourced it and drug it out and made the main structure, the trees that were sourced from the damaged wood from the storm. And then the sawmill guys, they had literally just cut that wood, so 4 days before that it was just full logs, and they made that wood right there. So it's just crazy to think about. The only money I think that we had in it were the screws, and then quite a bit, 7 times 9, so it was $630 that would have been in screws. But that's not too bad for a whole bridge. Besides that, it was just labor and everybody's hard work and efforts put in that made that happen, and machine work and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just it was a beautiful moment to just see everybody come together, from the sawmill guys to the heavy equipment operators, Tim and Uriah and Tony out there, and just everybody working together. And then me and the gentleman from Israel and Denny, we just screwed it down. And the tree guys were out there too a little bit. They unloaded some and did some work and just helped line it all out, helped clean up the bridge and get it ready to go. But that was mainly Jason, but Jason and Todd were both out there. I think Todd spent most of the time back at the sawmill working the sawmill. But it was just a big group effort that we just threw down a bridge real quick, and it was just really cool to watch us take something that was basically demolished out there and repurpose it and reuse it and turn it into a bridge that was able to help some people out and get them access to their home. So it was just a really cool moment, a really cool experience, and just another one of those fun adventures I got to go on out there. And it was, as me and Denny learned, a day of patience between waiting for 30 minutes each direction in traffic, or waiting on the drills to stop smoking so we could use them because they were overheating. We just constantly learned that it was a day of patience. I'm going to make a quick condensed video of just building a bridge after this. You can feel free to share that as well, or this too. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel as well. I'm going to be doing all kinds of adventures like this, and just follow along with the stuff I've been doing. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.